Welcome to the second guest lecture of Sync series brought to you by Synergy, the annual symposium of Mechanical Department, NIT Trichy. Today we'll be syncing with Mr. Abinandhan, an alumnus of NIT Trichy. He did his bachelor's in mechanical engineering and graduated in the year 2021. Currently, he works as an engineer and a scientist at ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization. A hearty congratulations to you, sir, on your achievement. This is indeed a great achievement, and a lot of students like me dream of working at ISRO. There's a lot of students out there who are really keen for listening to your guest lecture. Mr. Abinandhan has always been an all-rounder in college, graduating with an honors degree in mechanical engineering, and his great involvement in sports by being a part of the college athletics team as well. There are numerous achievements to talk about when it comes to Mr. Abinandhan, sir. So without further delay, let's get into it. Over to you, sir. Could you introduce yourself and also add something interesting about you that we all wouldn't know?
Okay, you pretty much told everything about me. Something like people might not know is, okay, I did my schooling in Trichy completely. And I also did my undergraduate in Trichy. This is the first time I'm moving out of Trichy. Like for my job, it's the first time I'm moving out of my hometown. And one interesting thing about me is like, if I hadn't been placed in ISRO, I've never been in India. That was my last choice of company. I was sat for placement. Like if I had not been ISRO, I would have probably doing some MS in mechanical or aerospace somewhere in US or Europe. So yeah, life gives you chances and you use it.
Oh wow, that sounds like it was like a turning point in your life. Like it's either ISRO or I'm doing masters abroad. So probably that was your turning point.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can consider as a turning point. I don't know how well is it going. Let's see.
Okay. Did you get placed in any other company before ISRO? Or ISRO was the first
Uh,
you got placed in?
Actually, according to our like placement cell, once you get placed in one company, you can't sit for any other company, even if it's ISRO, any other government company, you can't sit for other companies. So obviously, ISRO was the first company I got placed for, and maybe it was like a lucky chance only I didn't get placed in other companies.
That's interesting, actually. And when we got an acceptance for your invitation for the guest lecture, we sent out a form to fill by the students so that they can ask you some kind of like interesting questions that they wanted to ask you, and we picked out a bunch of questions, and today we'll be asking those questions to you. So here we go with the first question. When did you decide to join ISRO and what motivated you to build a career in space technology?
Okay, everything occurred by chance, to be frank. I never dreamed of joining ISRO. One thing I was very sure of was I chose mechanical out of keen interest. I didn't want to choose anything apart from mechanical. So one thing I wanted to do is definitely pursue a career in mechanical, at least start my career in mechanical related field. So that I was sure of. So obviously, like any other person, I sat for all core companies. Like any person who's willing to work in the core only, I sat for all core, most of the core companies that came before ISRO, like 3 to 4 maybe. And I thought, okay, after 3 to 4, I thought it is taking a lot of time I mean, I was also applying for my higher simultaneously, MS and mechanical engineering. So I thought, okay, let me give ISRO a last chance. If I get into it, it's something I'm lucky, or it's something fruitful happened for my efforts, and it just like that happened. And to be honest, I'm not really attached to space technology. I'm open to opportunities. Like you give me any other technology related to mechanical, robotics, anything, I'm open to it. The thing is, yeah, ISRO occurred by chance, and now since I've been working with ISRO for the past like 18 months, I've learned a lot about space technology, And one thing that's interesting about space technology is spin-offs. Basically, like your mobile camera is basically a spin-off of satellite camera that been the cameras developed for satellites that got used for developing your mobile cameras. So those interesting things what keeps me attached to space technology, right?
Okay. That's actually quite different from other people's story. Because whenever you ask somebody who's in the space industry, they say that they have been loving space since young childhood. So they say like that, but then your story is little different from others, and that's so unique.
Mm.
And so we know that you work at the Human Spaceflight Department of ISRO. So could you shed some light on what kind of work you do there and what role do you play there?
Okay, so as the name suggests, the center is specifically created only for human space flights, like to send humans to outer space.
Okay.
So, the most ambitious project of ISRO announced by Prime Minister in around 2018 was Gaganyaan. That's the current project going in the center, and I'm basically part of this entity which takes care of quality and safety and all. My work is much involved in risk assessment of the systems used in the mission. So I am involved in risk assessment using with risk assessment methodologies like probabilistic risk assessment, FMECA. Those are few risk assessment methodologies using which you assess the risk posed by different systems to the mission, and you quantify them and you give suggestions to improve the design. So this is why right now I'm involved in.
Okay. And in order to join ISRO, is there any kind of exams that you had to clear, or was it through TNP process? And if there were
Okay.
exams, how did you prepare for those exams?
Okay, basically mine was through TNP. Like ISRO rarely comes for placements. I would say like my batch got lucky that it was the only time ISRO came to placements for NIT3 I guess. So there was no exams, nothing. I applied. There was an interview. Interview went well, and I got placed. That's a simple story. But I can tell you like what are the other ways to get into ISRO maybe.
Yeah.
There is this ICRB exam. ICRB is like ISRO Common Recruitment Board. ISRO conducts exam, or sometimes it takes gate scores too.
Okay.
So using those scores, they will shortlist candidates for interviews similarly, and you'll have interviews and you'll get selected for this role. That's it. And one more thing probably might not be useful for you guys, because it is like you have to study in IST and you directly get into ISRO through some interview. IST is like a college run by ISRO.
Yeah.
Those are the ways. So,
Okay. So probably your story of getting into ISRO sounds like the easiest and the coolest one. Maybe.
maybe yeah. It was pretty much like any other interview, any other core company interview. Just that that day was mine, I would say. So it went well. That's it.
Okay. Probably like if you have to have even a little bit of luck, there should be so much hard work. Without hard work, there is no luck. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think your hard work just paid off with a little bit of luck.
maybe.
Okay. So during college time, what were your priorities? How did you manage academics and co-curricular activities? And how did your PORs and extracurricular activities in college contribute to the person that you're today?
Okay. For the first question, like regarding my priorities, uh, as soon as I entered college, I was sure about one thing. My first priority would be academics. No matter what. I was pretty sure, like at least while I end college, I should have a CGPA more than 9, and I should ensure like every sem I get 8.5 plus, because I wasn't sure. Like highest was always on my cards, like abroad MS studies. and it is always good to have a high CGPA, like when you're going for abroad and all. That's what my seniors also told, and I will also recommend people to have. So academics were my first priorities. Apart from that, yeah, I need to have some social life and all. So that's when, and I was a much of a sports enthusiast. Like right from school, I was part of athletics team. Yeah, so that's how I got. I went for athletics selection, got into athletics team also. Then yeah, apart from that, I was also part of few fest teams like fest and all. So yeah, my priority was acats. After that, equal priority to teams. That was my priority. Regarding PORs, okay, PORs were like more of an what to say. It gave me like these soft skills, like teamwork, basically working in a team, or say being diplomatic. You cannot say, for example, I'm working on a project and we have done a mistake. You take the blame. The whole team needs to take the blame. And if you succeed in the project, you also need to take the credits like equally among the team. There are a few things that my PO taught me, like being part of these teams taught me. Yeah, apart from that, the work I'm doing, obviously, it's like a very core job. So those are like obtained from what I studied or what I'm learning, obviously.
Okay. And then, so could you tell us some perks that ISRO gives you, like allowance for pursuing individual projects?
There is as such no allowance to pursue an individual project, since like it's a governmental organization. You have some constraints on budgets also. Like the government allows you some budget, and you need to provide salaries. A lot of things goes behind the financial management and all. You can't. Obviously, you can pursue some research. Like you can pursue some research related to the work you're doing. Write papers on it, publish it on journals or conferences and all. That are definitely sponsored. But sponsoring a big project, it is not a big project for your own. I mean, if you have taken a single project for yourself, like apart from what the organization wants, it is not meeting the organizational goals. And obviously, it is not very easy to get funding for that.
Yeah, it makes sense. And what is your opinion on private space techs like Skyroot rocket, Space Nova, etc. in India? And how do you think private players are disrupting space technologies in India? So, what is your opinion on that?
Okay. Okay. So currently, if you see the space economy is worth around 386 billion or something, and it's almost going to be $1 trillion industry in the future, 15 to 20 years or so. Despite being one among the 6 countries to have full launch capabilities, India contributes only to 2% of the total space sector worth, like valuation, like around $7.2 billion or something. So, is a governmental organization alone cannot develop space tech to that extent to contribute a lot. So, obviously, private players are required. Though I'm not really qualified to talk about what these people are doing. Like they are like pioneers. Like they worked in many other industries. Then they have started these
Yeah, like
space tech
most of the
startups.
people in Skyroot rocket are ex ISRO.
Yeah, they are Extros employees basically. Yeah, they are the ones who recently made a launch, Vikram S.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, there are many other startups coming into these space startup space, like Agnikul, Dhruva Space, like Pixel. Yeah, like many people are coming into, and it is really uh, improving the condition of space research in our country. If you see, like there are many startups that are looking into this small payloads launch vehicles, and once it is privatization happens, ISRO can can't completely concentrate on R&D. They can usually outsource their things to others, and they can completely concentrate on R&D. So obviously, entry of private players is a really good sign for ISRO and as well as our country.
Yeah, that was quite insightful what you said and how you explained it. And now we have another question. What internships and other research programs would you recommend to students who want to pursue a career in space technology?
Okay. So obviously, since this is your core side, either mostly it might be mech guys, or mostly it might be mechanical or electrical or EC. These three are the major players in ISRO. Apart from that, there are few CSE engineers. So if you want to do something if you want to enter into ISRO or something, I would definitely recommend you to do some research internships related to core fields. Like, say, if you want to get in, you look into internships on propulsion, or say you look into internships on rocket engines, those kind of in academia as well as other. If you can look into other startups or any companies that are giving you research internships, it is of really good value to you yourself. Like, you can improve your profile and all. But I wouldn't say like it is entirely dependent on what your internship is. You can still get into ISRO if you are good with your basics of mechanical engineering, or if for a mechanical engineer, basics of mechanical engineering, your all the core subjects. If you are good with it, you can still get into ISRO irrespective of what internship you have done.
Okay. And is ISRO planning to send Indian astronauts to space, be it the moon or the Mars? How is ISRO going to select and train them?
Okay, as I said, I'm already working on that kind of mission
Yes,
only, Gaganya. Yeah, so we need to take baby step. We can't directly go to moon or Mars in the first attempt. First is the outer space, like something of a lower orbit, 400 kilometer from Earth's surface. That will be the first step. That is what they are planning also. And yeah, they have sent few people to Russia. They've trained and they're there. The timeline and all is like, obviously, I am a very young guy. I won't know the timeline. It's about with the top officials and stuff. So it might happen soon.
Okay. And do you think ISRO would someday collaborate with NASA and make Indian astronauts to be able to work together in the ISS along with NASA astronauts and Russian cosmonauts? So do you think someday this would happen?
Okay. I am not sure about whether they might collaborate with NASA for making Indian astronauts, or like they work with these astronauts or cosmonauts. There's one collaboration going, which is NISAR, basically in NASA India ISRO collaboration. That's a satellite related collaboration. But working in ISS in near future, because ISS is going to decommission by 2030. You have some 7 more years. Within that, will a collaboration happen? I'm definitely not sure about it. Might happen, might not happen.
Okay. And do you think that space colonization is sometime possible? If then, when and how? Like, what kind of opinion you have on that?
Okay, space colonization. Obviously, there is a possibility because already people started uh, looking into space tourism and stuff, like these Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, SpaceX. They're looking into space tourism and stuff. And obviously, there is a possibility for space colonization. But yeah, the thing is, it is a very, or say, it's a very expensive process, I would say. It will take time. Uh, Sometime in future, it may definitely happen. People might go to space, live for a few months, come back. Those
Yeah.
kind of things may happen.
And
Any common people also.
yeah. And if an undergraduate student aspires to get an internship at ISRO, what advice would you give him or her, and what would help him or her achieve that goal?
I guess you can do some research projects with Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. People can check out their website, VSSC.
Okay.
There is one that is one possibility. Apart from that, if you are looking into other centers or something, you have to mostly make connections to LinkedIn. You mail them, they will talk to their superior or something. They can get back to you. These are the two ways I am aware of for getting an internship at ISRO.
Okay. And does ISRO offer grants or fellowships for undergraduate students who want to pursue internships at NASA JPL?
Okay, they don't provide any grants to pursue any internship. As I said, what is it? IST is a college run by ISRO.
Yeah.
The toppers of their institute get to go to NASA for, Caltech, NASA JPL for a 2-year MS course. Anyway, they have to come back to ISRO, but they get to do an MS from Caltech. That's the one possibility. Apart from that, I don't think so. ISRO funds any people to go to NASA JPL internship.
Like in case of IIST, they have kind of like a tie-up with ISRO where like the top 3 students of each department gets to do an internship at NASA JPL. It's like that in IIST. But is there any option for students of other college who want to do NASA JPL internship? What do those students do?
Seriously, if you have to ask me, I haven't done one internship as like that. But if you have to do, I guess you can. The institute had to help. ISRO doesn't help. That's one thing I'm sure of.
Okay, so you've done an
So if is no, I haven't done.
okay.
The internship I have done is like Indian IIT Kanpur and IIT Madras internships, and that's it. After that, I sat for placements.
Okay. So the conclusion is that our institute has to help the students.
Yeah, institute has to help the student, or you yourself start looking out. Connect to people from NASA JPL or something.
Okay.
If you can look out for, I guess there is an internship with Caltech. I'm not sure exactly if there is an opportunity to work at NASA JPL, but students have a summer internship opportunity as Caltech. That I'm sure of.
Yeah, Caltech, that research is something different, and NASA JPL is different. That is for
Yeah, I
international.
mean, NASA JPL is part of Caltech
Caltech.
University actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So if there is a possibility to get into NASA JPL research and internship through this Caltech internship, that might be a possibility. I'm not exactly sure of whether there is an grant or something from ISRO to go to NASA JPL. I don't think so. There's one.
Okay. Yeah. And you earlier told that you wanted to pursue masters abroad, but then you sat for the placements and then you got placed in ISRO. So you earlier mentioned that, and now you're working at ISRO. What is your future plans? Are you gonna pursue masters abroad, or would you like to continue your job at ISRO?
Okay, that is something I'm yet to decide upon. I'm just like 18 months. I have completed just 18 months in ISRO. So I'm waiting for a good time, like maybe one more year or something. I can take a study leave, go to US study, complete masters, come back, or I can look at other opportunities as well. Right now, I'm not thinking of anything. Just to continue with my job, do a good job. That's it.
Okay. And what is the most unique thing that ISRO does and other space agencies like NASA, ESA, and CSA don't?
Okay, those institutes, I mean those organizations you told are like pioneers in space. Obviously, they started earlier than us. But one thing I could say that ISRO does is they are cost sensitive. Like PSLV cost per kg of payload to launch it to space. is the second lowest after SpaceX. So obviously we have a budget constraint, and automatically that has led us to develop very cost-effective solutions like our Mangalyaan, be it our Mangalyaan, our PSLV, everything is very cost-effective. So
Yeah.
that is very something unique about ISRO, I would say.
Yeah, that is really amazing about our country, and other countries don't do that. And so, like, we would like to know some upcoming ambitious and visionary project of ISRO from you. Would you like to share some details with us?
As I said, the most ambitious one is the Gaganyaan, which is sending astronauts to space, basically the first manned mission from India. Apart from that, yeah, there are upcoming missions. Like there was a recent mission called OneWeb launch. It was the first commercial launch by GSLV Mark III. So there is another version of the launch. Another 36 satellites will be launched. People are looking forward to that. And apart from that, there is Chandrayaan 3 coming up. Yeah, these are few of the upcoming projects of this.
And we have another unique questions to ask you. And how does it feel to work among some of the India's best scientists at ISRO? Is there anyone in particular who you look up to there in your workspace?
Uh, yes. The center I am working is a very young center. Most of the people are of my age. But I have interacted with few of the pioneers in space as well, like from ISRO. Like there are few people who have worked for past like 36 years or 38 years in ISRO, and I had close conversations with them. It is like really enriching. It's not just about the technical knowledge; they teach you lot from their experience. It's good in that sense, and also ISRO provides you with the opportunity to interact with like people from not just from ISRO but other space sector from NASA. I have even had close. We have had a close conversation with Rakesh Kumar, the first Indian to space. So
Yeah.
in that sense, ISRO provides you with a good opportunity to interact with like stalwarts in space and space technology and astronauts and all. There's not anyone I'm looking up to. Obviously, there are a lot of people I look up to. There is not a single person I look up to.
Okay. So that was really very intriguing what you said. And what other advanced technologies is still off the market for India, and what portion of those concern ISRO and the Indian space development?
Uh, okay, one thing that I would say I would like to see in the future in ISRO is a heavy launch vehicle. See, for example, our highest payload capacity is with GSLV Mark III, which is around 1010. But Falcon 9, which is SpaceX like workhorse, it is the most successful launch vehicle of SpaceX. It has payload of around 2210. So heavier launch vehicle, launch vehicle with a heavier payload, obviously can achieve a lot of things very easily. So that's one thing still not seen. Developed in ISRO. Maybe it's on cards. It might be developed soon. Yeah, that's one thing. It's still not developed. Many other space agencies have a very good heavy load launch vehicle.
Okay. And yeah, maybe for that we need a higher budget for higher payload.
Yeah, and it might take time as well. Developing a launch vehicle isn't a uh, overnight process, right? It takes time. The developing PSLV, GSLV took you almost say 20 to 30 years.
And
So this another next step.
yeah, and the Artemis mission of NASA took more than 10 years for them.
Yeah. So yeah, SpaceTech is definitely reaching everyone, but it's still at a stage where it takes time to develop.
And we have reached the end of the Q&A session. Thank you for taking your time from your busy schedule and to interact with us virtually and educate the students with your knowledge and experience, sir. And we also had a very wonderful time interacting with you. And it has been a great privilege hosting you for this sync episode. And now, would you like to say or like convey something to the students for the last time?
Thing is, just enjoy your college life. Also concentrate on your acads and co-curriculars, whichever you're interested in. Have fun. Just don't think a lot about what am I going to do in future. Live the moment, and obviously something will be there for you, and you'll get to do the best things in life. Yeah. Thank you.
That was really crisp and amazing. And sir, I'm really sure that students who are gonna watch this episode are gonna thank you like never before, because we got information which we never got in any other interview before. And last but not the least, we would like to thank everyone for joining us today in this session. And we'll have a lot more episodes coming in the upcoming months. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.